What's going on, y'all? Urban Fight Tips. This is Coach Sam here. I brought my little special guest, Samaya. This is my baby, my youngest. Well, someone was kicking in my brain, and I was like, okay, what do you do if you're in a situation where somebody's attacking you as a parent, mothers, fathers, and you actually got your little baby with you, okay? So let's think about a one-on-one situation. You're coming up, you got your child with you. First things first, you have to commit now in your mind that you're in a situation where you have to use violence. Anybody who's coming to harm you in this kind of situation, they're coming to do one of three things. They're coming to rob you, they're coming to assault you or your child, or they're coming to kill you, okay? So if they're coming to ask you for money, watch, wallet, car, keys, whatever, give it to them, okay? But if they're coming to ask you for your child, for you, or wanting to take your life, now you have to commit to violence. You have to elevate the level of violence past what they're willing to do, okay? So what am I saying? Most times in these situations, someone's coming to harm you. You've seen it on these videos. People come to attack you. You got your kid. What's the first thing people do? They guard their child and they shell up, right? So if I'm dealing in a situation and it's hand-to-hand combat, there's no gun involved. We're dealing with hand-to-hand right now. What do I want to do? I have two options. I can either hold her here and deal on a lead side basis, meaning that I'm using my lead side, lead push kicks, right? Lead elbows, lead jabs to keep my opponent back, side kicks to keep my opponent back, right? Or I can put her down, right? And I can shield her this way, and now I can deal with my opponent. I would rather create a scenario, come here. I would rather be in a situation to where it's almost like a bear, a mother bear, right? If you've ever seen in the wild where these mother bears come in, what does the mother bear do? The mother bear puts the child here, she moves the child, the cubs behind her, and she goes, she meets the threat, okay? So that's the kind of scenario, that's what we have to create. A situation to where we commit to meeting the threat. And that's what animals do in the wild, and that's what we have to do to survive in the streets. So, come here. So what are some of the situations? How do the drills look? Okay, if I'm holding my child this way, and I know that I'm dealing with an opponent, and my opponent is coming from this angle here, I want to be with my right leg forward. Why? Because this is my prized possession. This is my precious jewel. I have to protect this at all costs. If my opponent is coming from this angle, I need to shift her, moving her to this side. So now I can handle my opponent from this way, using my longest weapons, my jab, my push kicks, my teeps, okay? These are the tools that I'm trying to use. Switch arms. You're okay, you're okay. So, you wanna go to mama? You go to Ema? Okay. All right, so, go together. Go to mama. All right? So, we wanna create the scenarios that responses to these situations to where we can handle and respond in a practical manner, okay? Know that you have to elevate the level of violence. Know that you have to commit to elevating the level of violence. Know that your opponent, your attacker, is thinking the worst. So you have to escalate or elevate the level that they're going to, all right? Know that we're just dealing with this right now from a one-on-one situation. Now we're gonna throw in some more videos when we get into the two-on-one. You're in a group setting or you're around a bunch of people and you don't want to put your child down because you know you're dealing with multiple attackers, whatever the case might be. But for this situation, dealing in a one-on-one basis, and you know, there's really no threat of a gun. She's walking down the stairs. She's by the steps. There's really no threat of a gun. There may be a potential threat of a blade. I would rather in this situation deal with the blade because now I can place my child down and I can meet the blade or meet whoever's using the weapon. Now you're gonna throw in a situation of what if you put your child down and the child starts to wondering. I'm not worried about my child wondering. The least of my problems is her wondering. Watch her. The least of my problems is her wondering. Okay. I'm worried about her getting kidnapped. I'm worried about her getting killed. I'm worried about her being assaulted. Okay. So I want to create a scenario to where I keep myself in between her and the attacker. Now, while I'm keeping myself in between her and the attacker, I need to meet that individual, okay? And I need to meet them with aggressive violence, aggressive thought and intention of beating this person down or stopping them completely and stopping them till they're no longer moving, okay? You also want to look at it from the standpoint of what if maybe, this person is questionable and you're not sure as to their intentions. Women. The best thing for you guys to do, especially if you're dealing with an attacker, a guy maybe my size or bigger, Don't get in the habit of trying to fight with holding the child or this, that, and third. Don't make that a practice. Although we have some drills that I'm going to show you on how to do that, but you want to also be able to be in the mind state that it's going to be very difficult for you to hold this baby up here and land kicks to move this person back. You're not going to generate that kind of power. You're not going to be able to generate that kind of power, especially when your body is dealing with high emotion. You're dealing with anxiety. Your heart rate's up. These kicks are not going to move this person back. They're only going to piss them off, especially if they're bull rushing you or they're coming at you in a hardcore manner. And that's how they're going to come at you, because their intent is to harm you, kill you, rape you. Okay? So I want you guys to start looking at this. Here's a little drill that we can do. And I'll show you guys a drill that I want you to practice and work on to deal with this situation. We're going to pretend like this is a baby. All right? This is 20 pounds. All right? This is a big ass baby. All right? So we're talking about anywhere from a newborn, which is not going to be 20 pounds, to somebody who's 2 to 3 years old. But I want you to work on cradling this, because it's going to give you the strength and the endurance. Thank you, baby. Go out there. Go over there. I don't need you anymore. All right? It's going to give you the strength, and it's going to give you the endurance on how to deal with these situations, okay? So you're going to step up with your lead leg, with your lead hand, lead leg. So I'm in a southpaw position. I want to throw the jab, 1. I want to throw the hook, 2. I want to throw the uppercut, 3. I'm going to switch and do the same thing. Jab, hook, uppercut, okay? Now, you can do the same thing with your teeps or your kicks. 1, 2, 3. You can add a strike in. 1, 2. You can work your movements forward, backwards, pivots. Here, 1, same thing. You switch arms, same thing. You can work your jab here. You can work, boom, your teeps, okay? You can work your lead elbows, all right? Lead elbows, upward elbows, okay? You can work a lot of different variations, okay, to help you practice these drills. But notice all I'm doing, I'm working with this one weight in my hand, and I'm switching it side to side, okay? And this is going to teach me how to move and cradle with this little one in my arms, all right? Now, a lot of times you'll probably think, I don't want to harm my child. I don't want my child to get whiplash or swing my baby around. Well, guess what? You'd rather swing this baby around while you're fighting off an enemy than allow this person to kidnap your child and do whatever else they're going to do. See, we're trying to build things in the manner that we're trying to find a happy-go-lucky solution or to a situation, and that's not always the case. Sometimes we have to dig in and dig deep and just recognize that we're in a violent situation. There's no beauty in violence, okay? There's not a beautiful solution. The beautiful solution is that you survived. The beautiful solution is that you got out of it with the least amount of damage, and you were able to protect your loved one. The other thing I want you to look at is when cradling a child, holding a baby, and you think that that's going to be a way to keep your attacker away from you, notice they're not going to come reach for the child like a loved one would. They're not going to come reach for the child like a grandparent or an uncle or so on and so forth. They're coming to violently take this child from you. So as they're coming to violently take this child from you, and you're shielding this child, they're going to do it with one hand. They're going to be reaching over the top, throwing shots at you. You're not going to be able to defend yourself. Okay? So I want you guys to think about that. Think about some movements that you can do, and just be creative. Be able to think of realistic situations in real life time and drill them, train them. So if you got a 20-pound weight, you got a 10-pound weight, just get the weight in your hand. Work on the motions, stepping forward, using your jab, using your push kicks, using your lead elbows, switch sides, boom. Lead elbows, leading your knees, leading here. Use your strikes, use your weapons, okay? And that'll help you get the best results that you possibly can get. Stay tuned. This is part 1 of the video. Stay tuned. We're going to get you part 2 where we show you some of the ladies using the same movement, and we're going to show you a little bit more aggressive style of how it looks with a live attacker, okay? Appreciate you all tuning in. Stay safe. Oos.